Hi, everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon, Serena here. And it's me, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Kingrow Lita here. And today we're going to talk about, what we like about the Deke Sailor Moon. And I know that in the Sailor Moon followership, there are a lot of folks that hate the Deke Sailor Moon or unlike it, you know. But we're going to tell you some good things about the Deke Sailor Moon. The things that a lot of folks in the Sailor Moon followership would have you believe that there's nothing good about it. Or in their belief, there's nothing good about it. First off, the songs. Believe it or not, the songs are good. You aren't going to seek any offshoot of these songs anywhere else. Not in, could be non-Pioneers, GLEE's one, and not Renaissance Atlantic GLEE's one, or New Birth, Great Sea GLEE's one, and not in the Viz one, not in the Viz News one either. So you're only going to see these songs in the Deke Sailor Moon. And the songs are the first good thing about it. Now, that's the only thing that most of the Sailor Moon followership will say. Oh, well, the songs were good, they'll say. That's the only thing that they'll say is good about it. And then they'll bitch and rant about everything else that isn't good about it. The saga, the tales. They would have you believe that the saga and tale being told and Deke's first the two followings of Sailor Moon that Deke had the rights to and then had ownership to and whatever, they'll tell you that, they shifted the sagas and tales around, but they did not. I mean, the sagas still play out the same way that they play out in every other take of Sailor Moon. Yes, some things were skimmed out, but it's still the same saga and tale at the end of the day. It's still about the might of friendship. It's about never giving up. It's about being chosen to do something, and it's about believing in yourself when you've been chosen to do something. And there's also other things that are good about it as well. The show playing, the speaking. And I know a lot of Sailor Moon followers out there will have you believe that, the Settlers and the 4-1 Riker folk that did the speaking for them and Deke GLEE, they didn't speak very well for them. Now, I think that they did very well. I think that a lot of folks who spoke for them did very well for themselves. All right? And I liked the show playing. It's truly good. I liked it. And yeah. Can we talk about one other little things, Sailor Moon, that we are kind of leaving out here? Yeah, go ahead. Well, thank you, Sailor Moon. Thank you, Serena. Anyway, the other thing that Sailor Moon followers would have you believe that's bad about this Sailor Moon is they would they would have you believe that there's nothing good in this Sailor Moon. They'll bring up the skimming. They'll bring up how street names were shifted, strike names were shifted, near names were shifted. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about that. I'm happy with whatever the street names are in the Deke world, whatever the near names are in the Deke world, whatever the strike names are in the Deke world. They would have you believe those are bad, but I don't think so at all. And I don't think it takes away from what makes the Deke Sailor Moon, good. Another thing that I do like at the end of Deke Sailor Moon, I like is the Sailor Says. Now, a lot of these folks will scathe it and say that the things that you're learning are things that you can't, that these are dumb things. Well, some of the things you learn about, like showing on look, taking care of taking care of the earth, knowing what to do if someone's harmed, learning to forgive folks, learning not to doom folks, learning to see the good in folks. Yeah, I truly think those are good things you can learn. All right. And there's nothing wrong with those things. So at the end of the day, I think the Sailor Says were also what makes Deke Sailor Moon good. Now, a lot of these folks can stand or unstand with that. That's their own business. But at the end of the day, I think that the Deke Sailor Moon is good. And I just mentioned some things right there that make it good. Also, what also makes it good? Well, those are the only things I can come up with what makes it good, though. And which that is more good, that's more greater than all the things that these folks can come up with to bitch about it, or to say that it's not good, and their held belief or thought. So at the end of the day, the Deke Sailor Moon has a lot of good things about it, And yeah, they're going to bring up the names too, names being shifted. All right. Yeah, you're right, Sailor Jupiter. You're right, Sailor Big World. You're right, Lita. The names being shifted, well, I think that's a good thing too. You want to know why? Because the names being shifted, Latinist, Frenchish, Spanish, Hebrewish, Hellenish, Blacklandish, Farsiest names, because those are the names that English borrowed more from. Those are the names that English borrowed more of. So I think it was good that they chose to go by names that most folks speaking English would know, since English borrowed more names from those speeches than they did from Danish. Sorry. And I think the name's also what makes Deke Sailor Moon good. And also it was the Sailor Moon that many folks in the 4-1 Reichs and in a settled land grew up on. The Sailor Moon that most folks either saw on UPN or WB or USA or cartoon in the 4-1 Reichs and YTV in the settled land. But I do believe at the end of the day that there's a lot of things that make Deke Sailor Moon good. And I listed some of those right there. And if you don't believe me, well, that's all right. That is you have that right to stand or not stand with it. But I think this goes against all the films that you'll see on Euro putting down my Deke Sailor Moon, or saying a Deke GLEE Sailor Moon is not good and unwatchable, and So here are some things that are good about the Deke Sailor Moon, which started out being owned by the Walt Disney business, then by Deke GLEE, then by Cookie Jar Business, then by DMX News, and now by Wild Brian. So it it is what it is. So tell me what you think about it. Do you stand with me? You think there's some good about the Deke Sailor Moon? And if you want to watch the film yesterday when we went out, you can if you want to. See you all later.